Hey Sonny here. Today I'm showing how to play the Christmas song, which is also referred to Chestnuts Roasting on an Open Fire. So here's the first section. It goes like this. Oh, before we start, the guitar is tuned to D, drop D tuning on the low string, and then the rest is just standard tuning. So it's low D, A, D, G, B, and E. All right, the first chord is D6. Actually, I'm going to play it for you first in this first couple of measures. Alright, so what I'm playing is I'm playing a D6 chord, which is the low string, open low string, and then 4th fret of D and G and 3rd fret of B. And then we'll move my hands up and then use your pinky and play the 10th fret on the high E string. And you play the 9th fret on the high E string and the open A string together. And then you play the melody as E7, B10, B8. And then we'll play this D major 7th chord. So the strings are open D string, low D, and then 7th fret of D, 6th fret of G, 7th fret of B string. So you play all 4 strings together, and then you play just the B string on the 7th fret twice more. What I do is I usually just, after I play the chord, I play the index finger and my middle finger on the 7th fret on that B string. So slowly again that part. You can give a little vibrato if you want to, so pause it for a second. So that's the first section. Second section goes like this. What I'm playing is I play the open A, open G, 2nd fret of B, and open E string, arpeggiate. And we'll go back to the D6 chord, and 7th fret only on the high E string. And then you play open G, open D string, and 5th fret of G, B, and E together. And then 8th and 7th fret on the B string, open E string, and then next part goes like that. So what I'm playing, this is actually a G chord and a really funky A sharp diminished 7th chord. A sharp, basically this is A sharp chord. Okay. So what I'm playing is I play the G chord, 5th fret on the low D string. Remember this low string is now a D string, and 4th fret of G and 3rd fret of B, and then play those 3 notes together, and then open D string. And then play the A sharp chord, which is A1, open G and B3 together, open E string. Okay, so far we have this slowly. Next part. What I'm playing is I play is a counterpoint on the B minor, A2 and B3 together, and then lift up your index finger and play open A string and stay with B3 and play those 2 notes together. And then we'll play like a G chord, 5th fret of low D string and open high E string together, and the high E string one more time, and 3rd fret of G and B together, and an open E string, and then open D and 7th fret of B together. 5 and 7 on the E. And then we'll play this funky chord, a C sharp with a G sharp bass. So that's a 6th fret of D string, 6 on the B string, and 9th fret on the high E string together. Alright, so far that part goes like this. Next part. It's like a turnaround. So what I'm playing is I play like an F sharp interval. So that's D4 and high E6 together, and then G6 and high E6 together. Open G and high E8, and just play single note on the 6th fret on the high E string, and then A3 and high E5 together, and single note on the 3rd fret on the E string, and a single note on the 5th fret on the E string, arpeggiate 3rd fret on the D, 5th fret on G, 5th fret on the B string, and then you play the open D string and 5th fret on the E string together, and the 3rd fret. What do I do right here? Okay, and the 5th fret on the high E string, and then open G string and 2nd fret of E and B together, and then back to that open riff again. Okay, so the whole so that one piece goes like this again. Slowly, play slowly. One more time, slowly. I'm sorry. So let's stop right there and just repeat the whole thing from the top slowly again. And then back to the beginning part. See, is that same thing? So that one part is different. Instead of playing, so you just played a lesser notes. So what I'm playing is I play the 5th fret low D string and open high E string together, and then 3rd fret of G and B together, and then high E string by itself. And the next part is the same as the first section we play. Now this next part is going to be a little different. It goes to the little D section, goes like this. And it goes to the like a bridge or chorus, however you want to call it. So that section is a little different. So what I do right there is I play. Let me play that one more time again. D6 chord. So what I'm doing there, I'm playing open D, and 5th fret of E string together, 7th fret of G, single note 7 and 5 on the E, and you play this E minor chord, 2nd fret on the low D string, and then open G, open B, and 3rd fret on the high E string together. And then you'll play open A and open G string together, and 2nd fret on the B string, back to the D6 chord, which is open low D string, D4, G4, and E3. Alright, so that's the only part that's different the second time we play that. And then we'll go to the bridge. Goes like this. Oh, I'm sorry. Alright, so that part's a little long, so let me break it down first. The first section goes like this. Alright, so I'm playing there, I'm playing low D string, and then 7, 6, 7 on the G string. And then you play the open A string and 8th fret on the high E string together, 5th fret of G and B, open D, single note on the 7 and 5 on the high E string, and 8th fret on the low B string. Actually, I'm sorry, B string, yeah. And then you play the 5th fret on the high E string along with open A string, basically the A minor sound. And you play the 5th fret again on the G and B together, open D string, and a 7, 6, 7 on the G string. And goes to, so far we have this. One more time. The next part goes like this. Alright, so I'm playing there. I'm playing open A string, G5, B5, and high E8 together. And then 7, 8, 7 on the E string. And then open D string and 8th fret on the high E string together. And 7, 5, 3. And then D5 and high E5. And G4 and B3. Again slowly. Next part. Which I'm sorry. So while I'm playing there, I'm playing open D string by itself, 3, 2, 3 on the B string, and then you play open G string along with high E6 on, and then 5 and 6 on the E string. So the next part. So what I'm playing is I play the 3rd fret on the A string, hold my index finger barred all the way down, and play the 3rd fret on the high E string, hammer on the 5th fret, and the 3rd fret on the E string, 6th fret on the B string, and I use my pinky and my ring finger and play the 3rd fret of D, 3, and E3, and then you play the second fret of G and first fret of B together. That's an F chord. That's an F tone. So far with the whole section, we have this on the bridge part. Next section. So that section again, play slowly. Sorry. I'm playing third fret on the A string, and use my index finger and my pinky, play 1 3 1 on the E string, and I switch my hand, play this B minor 7th chord. I'm playing as A2, G2, B3, and open high E string. And you play high E string 3 more times, single note, and you play this E 7th chord. Second fret of low D string with first fret of G, B3, and open high E string again. And just pick the high E string one time, and then play A 7th chord. That's open A, open G, B3, open E, second fret only on the B string, and then open A, G, and B together. Second fret on the high E string, back to the D6 chord. So again, that section goes like this. Okay, so after that part, go back to the main riff. Exact same as I show you in the first part of the song. There's a little variation here. So the variation is I play the B minor interval, which is A2, B3, and then I play this quickly. I play the open A string, second fret on the B string, and then play the third fret on the B string alone. And back to the G minor interval. You can play this C sharp, G sharp chord again, just like we did in the beginning. And the next part is a little different. We're going to end the song now, so we play the so the part I'm playing now, play open G, open B string, and 10th fret together, 10th fret of high E string, and the 7th fret high E by itself. You play this D major 7th voicing, which is open D, 6th fret G, B7, and high E5, B minor interval, A2, B3, 2nd fret of low D string, because it's the drop D tuning on the low E string, and then you play the open string together. You play the A, G, B, and E together. The D6 chord again, the open D string, G4, B4, D4, G4, and B3, and you play pinky again using play the 7th fret on the high E string, single note. Again, open A, G, B, and E string together. It's like an A7 sus2 chord. And you play this A13, voicing, open G string, 2nd fret of B and E together, and again back to the D7th chord, on D6 chord. And then you can play the harmonic and ends the song. Basically, put my hand slightly over between 7th and 8th fret, and you just barely touch the string, and you kind of pluck it. Okay. So again, the ending of this song goes like the again. You can slow down, lower in volume. So that's the whole song, the Christmas song. You can play this over and over until you get sick of it. But I've always loved this piece, and it's a great song to play around Christmas time. It's not, there's many Christmas songs I like, but this one is particularly fun on Fingerpicking. It's got a jazz feel to it. So, and you don't have to stick to exact timing. You can play around your timing, slow down, speed up, slow down, speed up. Play however you want, because the melody is just very strong by itself, and you can do a lot of stuff with it. Thanks for watching.